With this thing here, I can't get close enough to read what I wrote.
Someone move the mic for you.
So the whole idea of this speech is that love is creative, and that love is the creative flame behind everything. And today in the audience, a friend of mine, who is also my teacher, I want to point this out because he teaches creative writing. And I wrote my first short story ever.
Wow.
And I want to say that I enjoyed it so much, the writing of it, that it must have been prompted by love. Must have been. So anyway, the creative flame of love. So Ernest Holmes says on page 478, love is the central flame of the universe, no, the very fire itself. Now it is written that God is love. You see that all over the place. God is love, right? And the essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything. And I love this line. Love defies analysis. So everybody here, raise your hand if you have no concept whatsoever of love. You have no concept. Okay, good. Then you're probably going to get something out of my speech. But I think most of you probably have a whole lot of ideas about love in your head. And what I'm trying to do today is to look at what normally goes on inside of our brains and our hearts and try to shift it a little bit, because we have a tendency to ignore love in one really important area, and that is on a cosmic level. We don't really think too much about that. And why would that be important? And I'll tell you, because how we think about love, I believe, is central. It is a compass leading to where we're going to really go in our lives. If we have no real feeling, idea, belief, knowledge of love, then we're going to be all over the place. But if we have that central idea firmly in our hearts and minds, we'll be going in the right direction. So many people damp down their creative flame due to conditioning. You know, you get taught that your children should be seen and not heard, and you get taught that you're really not very good, and you should, basically you should keep your flame under the bushel basket. And one of the reasons that we often do this is childhood trauma. Childhood trauma can prevent your flame from bursting out. Fear of disapproval. How many people here have suffered from that, where you don't produce, you aren't creative because you're afraid somebody will say, who the fuck do you think, I'm sorry about that. Who do you think you are? Anyway, so it's important to face the inner shadows, to bring the light of love into our hearts and our lives. Now it's possible, just possible if you think about it, that we're not here to get through life safely. We're not. As Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Wow. So maybe we're not supposed to be safe. She calls out the worst of evils, apathy. She thinks apathy is the worst evil the human can have in their soul and mind. And the illusion of security. Because on this plane, we all know that's an illusion. Now, life is beautiful and flowing and violent and chaotic. This is, life includes death. Everything in life appears for a while and then recedes back into the mystery. We are expressions of life evolving from unconsciousness to consciousness. So we're going to grow and change and make mistakes and fall on our face, do all kinds of things in our growth to consciousness. I love the way Marcus Aurelius put it. He wrote this in, I don't know, maybe 150 of the Common Era, a long, long time ago, at least 2,000 years ago. He said, all things come from one source, from that ruling reason of the universe, either under a primary impulse from it or by way of consequence. And therefore, the gape of the lion's jaws and poison and all noxious things such as thorns and mire are but the results of the grand and the beautiful. Look not then on these as alien to that which thou dost reverence, but turn thy thought to the one source of all things. Turn thy thought to that one. And what Ernest Holmes said at the beginning, what I quoted at the beginning, is that the one source of all things is love. So what we think about is pretty as important. So when we live at the lowest level of consciousness, we may view life as something that's happening to us. And when we believe that life is happening to us, we can develop feelings of victimhood. So what this philosophy and what this idea says is that life isn't happening to you. You are creating life using love as the fire that turns everything into being. New way of looking at it, huh? If you're trying to intellectualize your way through a controlled life, well, go ahead, have fun. We all know how well that works. One of my, all of my cogitating about love, I spent a lot of time thinking about love in the last 2 weeks and trying to come up with some really clear, concise way to express it, and I couldn't find one. It is elusive, and it is hard to pin down. So everybody's going to have to work at their own way of coming up inside themselves with a say, I believe this, and being able to grasp it and hold it to their own heart, because that's going to be critical for your own development. So I'm going to go through some definitions of love. A strong feeling of affection and concern toward another person, right? A strong feeling of affection and concern toward another person accompanied by sexual attraction. A feeling of devotion or adoration toward God. A feeling of kindness or concern by God toward humans. Sexual desire or activity. And then there's an instance of being in love. And there's a love could be a person, like you are my love, right? For whom one has strong feelings of affection. And this is used, love is also used as a term of endearment for such a person, and an intense emotional attachment to something. Like, I really love golf. Well, I don't, but man, that could be it. The affection you feel for a pet, we call it love. An expression of one's affection, so you love the expression. A strong predilection or enthusiasm. I love music. I love to hear you play. Predilection, enthusiasm for something. The object of enthusiasm is, that object is an object of love. And in sports, in tennis, love equals 0. Yep. Now, just an aside, I tried to find a good, clean joke about love, but the only funny ones were dirty. So, no joke today. So most of these definitions, we're looking at love as an emotional or sexual reaction to a condition or person or thing outside of the person. Most of them, right? So these are referencing love out there. You're feeling towards something out there. Well, anything that's out there is a result, right? Coming from in here. So we want to switch that a little bit and make sure that our emphasis is not on where or how it's expressed, but on that I'm expressing it, that love comes directly from me to something. And that therefore it is cause, not effect. It is cause, not result. And that's essentially what Ernest Holmes is saying when he says God is love, when I don't know, thousands of people have said God is love. When they say that, they're saying love is cause. Love is cause, and if God is everything and love is God, then love is everything, and therefore everything is a result of love. That's crazy logic, but it does in fact work. What if, as Holmes says that God is love, then love is the ultimate cause? We must be saying that love is a state of cosmic being. Love is a state of cosmic being. It must be when you are most feeling love for something, that's as close to being God as you can get. That's as close as you can get. And as we experience that state of being, it will result in a set of feelings in us that we will call love. In other words, those feelings that you feel inside yourself are the evidence that the cause is there. You see what I'm saying? You can notice the evidence that love is there inside you by your feelings. They're the result. And so it might be that almost everything that we think of in this plane as love is really just evidence. It's evidence that something bigger exists. So I looked at this new way of thinking about love, and I discovered a huge gap of knowledge inside me. It looks as if I need a whole new vocabulary in order to think about God. All the ways I use now don't really have a clear meaning. I mean, they have clear meaning within a certain framework, but they don't really handle the idea of cosmic beingness, being the love of God. So I haven't found a clear one, but I found some good ones. I like this one. I'm not sure whether I made it up or not. So it's the pen, when it tries to write of love, breaks. And in a sense, it does. So Richard Rohr, who is a kind of a relatively famous Christian theologian, put it this way, and I think this is really good. Love is not something you do. Love is something you are. It is your true self. Love is where you came from, and love is where you're going. It's not something you can buy. It's not something you can attain. It's the presence of God within you, uncreated grace. Good one, huh? Yeah. Now, if, as Holmes says, love is the creative fire for everything, then it has two functions, right? One is that it destroys everything unlike itself. So what would love as a cosmic flame inside of you destroy? It would destroy resentment, hate, judgment, evil, okay?
Fear, deception.
It would destroy hate, resentment, envy, malice, right? And what would it build? It's the fuel that powers all creation. It's going to build intimacy, affection, warmth, caring, compassion over and over and over again.
Love is the consciousness that joins.
Love is what?
The consciousness that joins.
I'm sorry, my ear.
The consciousness that joins together.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So I have to bring this very close. For some reason, my printer didn't print it out. I like this Rumi quote. Love rests on no foundation. It is an endless ocean with no beginning or end. I like that too, because you guys like mysteries?
Oh, yeah.
I'm fond of mysteries. I mean, I like answers, don't get me wrong, but I infinitely prefer swimming in the ocean of enigma, so to speak. So, truly beautiful. Holmes also said, as we enter into this paradise through the gateway of love, toward one another and toward God, love overcomes everything. Perhaps the reason I cannot truly define love completely for myself properly is because love is everything. How do you define everything? Okay, everything. I just defined it. Love is everything. But sometimes those kind of definitions are almost meaningless. So you got to find one that resonates inside your own heart. Holmes said, all is love and all is law. Both love and law are perfect, and we as individuals can only experience what we really believe. We can only experience what we really believe. Sometimes we believe stuff we shouldn't believe, and then we experience stuff that we don't like. But let's see if we could change our belief system about love to get it to the point that it would be the primary impulse of creativity in our lives. The primary impulse of creativity. Let's believe in love, and let's see to what heights that might take us. And I'd like to end with a final word from a Sufi poet, Hafiz, who said, "You will find yourself knee-deep in ecstasy when all your talents to love have reached their heights." Knee-deep in ecstasy. I'm looking forward.